In a world where kindness and respect sometimes feel like they're in short supply, how can we start treating each other better? How can we, as individuals, elevate our interactions and honor the lives of those around us? The answer might be found in recognizing the inherent dignity of others and learning to value not only them, but also the environment we create together. This idea is rooted in some ancient wisdom, specifically in the creation story from the book of Genesis, which gives us a blueprint for living with dignity, respect, and courtesy. At its heart, this isn't just about following societal rules or being good for the sake of it. It's about understanding there's a divine order and purpose behind our actions. Let's look at the Genesis account to see why this is so. Thus the heavens and the earth and all their army came to their completion. And by the seventh day, God came to the completion of his work that he had made, and he proceeded to rest on the seventh day from all his work that he had made. And God proceeded to bless the seventh day and make it sacred, because on it he has been resting from all his work that God has created for the purpose of making. This is a history of the heavens and the earth in the time of their being created in the day that Jehovah God made earth heaven. Now there was, as yet, no bush of the field found in the earth, and no vegetation of the field was as yet sprouting, because Jehovah God had not made it rain upon the earth. And there was no man to cultivate the ground, but a mist would go up from the earth, and it watered the entire surface of the ground. And Jehovah God proceeded to form the man out of dust from the ground, and to blow into his nostrils the breath of life. And the man came to be a living soul. Further, Jehovah God planted toward the east, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Thus, Jehovah God made to grow out of the ground every tree desirable to one side, and good for food, and also the tree of life in the middle of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and bad. Now there was a river issuing out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it began to be parted, and it became, as it were, for hands. The first one's name is Pe. It is the one encircling the entire land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. There also are the Delian gum and the onyx stone, and the name of the second river is Gaia. On it is the one encircling the entire land of Cush, and the name of the third river is Hid. It is the one going to the east of Assyria, and the fourth river is the Euphrates. And Jehovah God proceeded to take the man and set a land in the Garden of Eden to cultivate it, and to take care of it. And Jehovah God also laid this command upon the man: From every tree of the garden you may eat to satisfaction, but as for the tree of the knowledge of good and bad, you must not eat from it, for in the day you eat from it, you will positively die. And Jehovah God went on to say, It is not good for the man to continue by himself. I am going to make a helper for him as a complement of him. Now, Jehovah God was forming from the ground every wild beast of the field and every flying creature of the heavens, and he began bringing them to the man to see what he would call each one. And whatever the man would call each living soul, that was its name. So the man was calling the names of all the domestic animals and of the flying creatures of the heavens and of every wild beast of the field. But for the man there was found no helper as a complement of him. Hence, Jehovah God had a deep sleep fall upon the man, and while he was sleeping, he took one of his ribs and then closed up the flesh over its place. And Jehovah God proceeded to build the rib that he had taken from the man into a woman, and to bring her to the man. Then the man said, This is at last bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This one will be called woman, because from man this one was taken. That is why a man will leave his father and his mother, and he must stick to his wife, and they must become one flesh. And both of them continued to be naked, the man and his wife, and yet they did not become ashamed. It tells us that after creating the heavens and the earth, God rested on the seventh day, blessing it and making it sacred. This sets a precedent of order and purpose. Then, before there was any vegetation or even rain, God formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed life into him. Man became a living soul. This act was incredibly personal and deliberate. God didn't just speak humanity into existence. He crafted us with his own hands, signifying our profound value from the very beginning. Next, God placed the man he had formed in a beautiful, abundant garden. This was a paradise filled with every tree that was desirable to look at and good for food, along with life-giving rivers. This wasn't just a random location. It was a carefully prepared environment, a space designed for man to thrive. It was a place of beauty, abundance, and safety. This teaches us a powerful lesson. Our surroundings matter. The environment we live in and create for others should reflect care, respect, and dignity. Just as God placed Adam in a space of abundance, we should strive to create environments where people feel valued, whether it's at home, at work, in our schools, or in our communities. We have the power to foster spaces that show dignity toward each other. The motivational speaker Tony Robbins said, "The secret to living is giving." When we give others the gift of a respectful and dignified environment, we don't just lift them up. We elevate ourselves as well. In the garden, God also gave Adam a clear instruction. "You may eat from every tree, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and bad." To do so would lead to death. This wasn't an arbitrary rule meant to restrict Adam. It was a guideline designed for his protection, much like a speed limit on a highway is there for our safety. Obeying this rule was an act of trust and respect for God's wisdom and his loving care. In our own lives, respecting rules and boundaries isn't about limiting our freedom. It's about creating safety, stability, and order for everyone. The author Joe Dispenza often says, "The way we think and feel creates our reality." If we approach rules with the understanding that they help shape a better, safer world for us all, we begin to see the importance of living by higher principles that protect life, relationships, and society itself. Now, let's look at another pivotal moment. After Adam named all the animals, God observed that it was not good for the man to continue by himself. Adam was alone, and he needed a partner. So, God performed what you could call the very first surgery. He caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, took one of his ribs, and from it, built a woman. He didn't just create another being. He created a complement, a helper perfectly suited for him. The beauty of this moment is profound. God saw Adam's need and responded with incredible love and thoughtfulness. When Adam saw Eve for the first time, his reaction was one of instant recognition and joy. He said, "This is at last bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh." This wasn't just a statement of biological fact. It was a poetic declaration of connection, of shared identity, and of intrinsic value. He saw her as an essential part of himself. This powerful example shows us how we should value the people in our lives, our family, our friends. When we start to see others as true partners in this journey of life, our relationships are transformed. We should constantly remind ourselves to look at the people around us with that same sense of wonder and appreciation that Adam had for Eve. In a world that often encourages us to take people for granted, true respect comes from actively recognizing and expressing the immense value of those who walk alongside us. But how do we maintain this level of respect and courtesy consistently? This is where we need to bring God into the formula. Treating others with kindness isn't just a good social practice. It's a reflection of a higher, divine calling. When we include God in our relationships, we start to see the bigger picture. We understand that we are all interconnected, that we are all stewards of this world, and that we have a sacred responsibility to care for one another. God's own example of love, patience, and creation is the ultimate model for how to treat others with dignity. Treating others with respect is a divine command. As the Bible says in Matthew 7:12, "So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them." This is the golden rule. In a world pulling us in countless directions, remembering this simple yet profound principle can keep us grounded and focused on what truly matters. In a world pulling us in countless directions, remembering this simple yet profound principle can keep us grounded and focused on what truly matters. In the end, the message is simple. To live with respect, we must first value the lives of others. To do that, we need to recognize their inherent dignity and worth, just as God demonstrated when he created humanity. The story of Adam and Eve teaches us that our relationships with God, with our families, and with each other are meant to be partnerships built on a foundation of trust, respect, and love. Mahatma Gandhi famously said, "Be the change that you wish to see in the world." In a world that often feels chaotic and divisive, it is up to each of us to set a better example. We can choose to treat others with kindness. We can choose to respect the guidelines that protect us all. And we can choose to keep God at the center of our relationships. By doing so, we not only improve our own lives, but we also help make the world a little more like the paradise God originally intended for us. Take a moment today to reflect on this. How can you treat others with more respect? How can you see the dignity in every single person you meet? How can you include God in your formula for living? If we all commit to this, we can truly make the world a better, more polite place. Thank you so much for your attention. If you liked this video and think it can help make the world a better place, please follow us for more content. Hibiwas a like, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Feel free to share this video with friends and family you think it might help. For more deep and meaningful content to help you become the best version of yourself, check out the channel, Desprograma tu mente. And don't forget, Keep the World Polite as a podcast on Spotify and 2 books on Amazon. The links are in the description. Have a great day, and keep on keeping the world polite.